Oh, yes.
Where's Rachel? Where is she? Where'd you... Harvey? Where did you put her? Where did Harvey put Rachel? Hello. Hello. You're watching Nerdish. I lost my shoe. You gotta put your shoe back on. Very good. What are we doing here? Well, we do SAT, ACT prep for everyone. Yes, and the question is not where is Rachel, but when. 8 to 9:30 p.m. That's when Rachel is. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Watch it. Just see what it's like. It's for free. All week long. You can ask us questions like where's Rachel, and what you do with Rachel, and where is Harvey Dent. They're both studying for the SAT. It's a very important test if you want to go to college or university. Nice. I should have said university first because it rhymes. Oh, that's Catwoman. That's okay. I think we know Catwoman because we're Batmen. Let's do a problem. Yeah. We did exponents last time. What should we do? Let's factor a quadratic. Okay. Man, when it comes to education, I'm an addict. Oh my god, but not that kind of addict. No, just a quadratic addict. I hope this is factorable. Oh, it's gonna be factorable. Add 6. Okay. 6 is for Rachel. Alright. Let's take out a 2. Let's make it equal to 0. That's a good idea. Okay. So let's factor out 2. X squared minus 2. How much time do we have before Rachel explodes? Ask Harvey. Harvey. Multiply to positive 3, add to negative 2. I don't think that's possible. Oh, shoot. That's okay. Sometimes you can't factor quadratics. And sometimes you can't save Rachel. I was about to say that. I'm so sorry. No, it's good. It shows that we're tight bonded, like Tight Bond, original wood glue. It has a tight bond, like me and Levi.
Cram Session, robots in disguise. That's how the song goes. Welcome. There is an SAT tomorrow. Everybody's talking about it. Everyone's excited.
Yep.
Levi has been frothing at the mouth all day.
Yes.
And it's rather unattractive.
We filled a whole bowl with
Froth?
the froth coming out of my mouth.
We got a froth bowl upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a bowl of froth.
Yep. Not to be confused with broth, which you did for your dinner, and that was gross.
I did not know. That's... Ugh.
Ew.
I want to
It's
say...
really gross, dude.
I know.
Oh. I thought you liked it.
What, the broth?
Yes.
Of course I liked it.
The broth.
You don't like broth, but I like broth. You hate it compared to how much I like it. I gotta clean this up. We got a little smudge down here. Gotta get rid of this smudge. There we go. A little smudge over here. Little smudge never hurt.
Little smudge.
You keep talking. I'm gonna turn the fan off.
Oh, that's a good idea. Hey, so we have no big plans for tonight aside from helping those of you who are taking the test and everybody else, I guess, with SAT prep. So if you're taking the ACT and you want to ask those questions, that's cool as long as they apply to the SAT because that's what we are hitting tonight.
Correct.
Only, specifically, exclusively, mutually,
solely,
and exclusively.
Hey, that didn't hurt. You just got me the marker. Nice. Nice.
Oh, blast.
Anybody have any questions? It's a big day. It's a big night.
You know what? I think Ben asked a question, so we might as well. I wish we got to this. I was hoping to get to this earlier in the day, but I did not.
Oh, that's a fun one.
You look at it already?
A little bit, yeah.
Nice. So you got it?
Yeah, a little bit.
What? There we go. Okay.
Bum bum ba da dum bum ba da dum bum ba da dum bum da dum da dum da dum bum ba da dum bum. You're getting really good at that, aren't you?
It's
You find it fun?
Yes. Do you?
You can make it a little smaller. Nice.
Shoot.
Oh.
I got.
There you go. That'll look excited. The even integers from 2 through 98, inclusive, excluding those that are multiples of 10, are multiplied together. What is the units digit of the resulting product? This is going to be awesome. Let me just start off with a little piece of knowledge that you might want to know. Let's say you're going to multiply two two-digit numbers together, like 13 and 13, all right? It's not too hard to figure out what they're going to be, but notice the very last digit. It's going to be a 9. You could have gotten that by just looking at the units digits at the very end of the number. They are going to create the units digit that you have at the end. Don't worry about these numbers. I mean, of course, they go into the number, but the very last number is created by the units digits of the units digits of the numbers you're multiplying together. That didn't sound good at all. All right? So this might seem impossible because there's a lot of numbers you're going to multiply together, but it's actually not that complicated because there's a lot of work that you do not have to do. Okay? So, the even integers from 2 through 98. I'm going to write down a couple of them just so we kind of have our bearings here. 2, 4, 6, 8. We do not have 10. They say all the multiples of 10. We're not using those. Okay? And then we go to the next I don't know, grouping of 10 here. So now we have 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay? All the way down to 92, 94, 96, and 98. And they want us to multiply all of those numbers together and figure out what the units digit's going to be. Well, because units digits only come from multiplying the previous units digits together, let's just figure out what the units digits would be for all of these rows. Because they all have the same exact units digits in them, so the number that they'll create, the product of each row, will be different from each one of the other rows, but they'll all have the same units digit. Okay? So, 2 times 4 times 6 times 8. That's going to be 8 times 6, which is 48 times 8. So 48 times 8 is going to give us, not that the tens or hundreds digits matter, but it could. Let's see, that's almost 50 times 8, which would be 400, but then we have minus 2, which is 16. So we're going to have 384, I believe. 40 times 8, 320 plus 64. Yes, 384. So we got 8 times 6 is 48 times 8. Yes, okay, 384. Here's the units digit. We're going to get that same units digit for all of these rows. Okay? Numbers in front, yes, but the same units digit. All right? Now think about all of these rows. How many rows do we have? We've got 10 rows. All right? This is row 1. This is row 2. And so row 2 is the tens. Row 1 is 0 through 10, so it's almost like we're working backwards, okay? So this right here is going to be, I'm sorry, did I screw this up? The second row is the tens. All right, yes, so this is the 10th row. The 10th row is the nines, okay? So that means that we have the units digit of 4 10 times, okay? We want to multiply all those numbers together. All we really care about is the units digit, which means we're going to have 4 times itself 10 times. And here we go. 4 to the 10th power. That is what we're talking about here. Levi.
Yes.
Can you, okay, this calculator up here is dead.
I can do 4 to 10.
4 to the 10th.
Oh boy, 1 million.
Yep.
48,000.
Yep.
576.
Okay. 576, the last 3 digits. There's a whole million on all that stuff in front. 6. 6 is our last units digit, or just the units digit. So it is going to be D. All right. Pretty exciting if you're into that sort of thing. If you're not, it's boring and tasteless. But if you like it, it's delicious. Just like Mom used to make. All right, Levi, what's next?
All right, we got another one. You want to take care of some Reddit stuff while I do this one?
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I don't know what this one is, so maybe I can't do it. We're going to find out.
Hey, that was a fun little accent you just put on.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, this is a tiny little question.
It's like you're from a rural area.
It is like that. Oh, hello. Okay. Okay.
Make it bigger.
Oh, I'm going to make it bigger.
Make it bigger.
Okay. So I got this one.
Okay. Have you already posted?
Well, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We have a box with a square base and no top. Must have a volume of 8 cubic meters. Okay, so I'm going to... Should I draw the box? I should draw the box.
If you want to.
Oh, I do want to. Let me think about this. Oh, yeah, no, this makes sense. Okay. So here's our box. It's a little small. Has a volume of 8 meters. So volume equals 8 cubic meters. Great. And then it says the materials cost $8 per square meter. Okay, interesting. So $8 with D. I guess I can do the dollar sign. $8 per square meter, which is different from cubic meters. So we do need to keep that in mind. For the base, and $6 per square meter for the sides. Interesting. So this is base and $6 per square meter for the sides. I don't know where this is going. To the nearest dollar, what is the minimum cost for the materials needed to make the box? Disregard any overlap of materials. Okay. So our answer choices are $50 and then all these other ones. I don't think there's a great way to work backwards, so I'm going to work forwards. The way you can use the least material to make something of a certain cubic volume or the lengths for an area is make all of the side lengths the same length. So if the volume equals 8 cubic meters, that means that we're going to make all of these 2. You want, I missed that one actually. Yellow and pink is a good combination, right, Bird? Yeah. Okay. So here we know that the volume is 8, and therefore that's going to equal the side cubed, right? This being side. I'll write that in. Side length S. We want all the side lengths to be the same. That's how we make this thing as small as possible with its dimensions. So that means that S equals 2 meters. Now, with S equaling 2 meters, now we can find the surface area of, or the area of the base and the area for all the sides, and then we can multiply that by their cost, and that will give us the cost of this box, which I think is the question. To the nearest dollar, what is the minimum cost for the materials needed to make up the box? Okay, so let's do that now, and let's hop to blue. So we went from pink to yellow, and now yellow to blue. So let's do the base first. The base is going to be 2 by 2, right? So it's going to be, the base is going to be an area of 4 square meters. And then we're going to take 4 square meters. We're going to multiply it by the rate. This is actually sort of a rate question, but it's the cost for the base is $8 over 1 square meter. That's that ratio right there. The meters squared cancels. We get $32. So that's one piece. And then the sides, the surface area, or the area of the sides is going to be, and this is area total. Let me know if that doesn't make sense, everybody. This will be, did you post on Discord, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can you post in the general for the SAT Discord as well?
Sure.
Cool. Just link us, I guess. It's fine if we do that tonight. Maybe copy what I said on Reddit.
Okay.
Very cool. So area of the total is going, you have 1, 2, 3, you have 4 faces of the box, right? There's no top to the box, they said that at the beginning. So the 4 faces of the box, they'll all be the same. So you're going to do 4 times the area, which is 4 square meters, right? Because 2 by 2 for, let's say, this side face here, and then you have the other 3 faces. So 4 times that, that will be 16 square meters. So now we have to do 16 square meters times this rate, which is $6 over, hope that dollar sign is clear, it's not, $6 over 1 square meter. The meters squared cancel. 6 times 16 is 60 plus 36, so 96. Dang it, forgot it again, dollars. So the total cost will be 96 plus 32. 96 plus 32 is 128, which is closest to 126. So the cost is $128. Forget the dollar sign again. I don't know why they make you round. That doesn't really make a ton of sense to me, but there you go.
I cannot copy and paste from Reddit to Discord, so you're going to have to do that.
Really?
Yeah. On my phone, at least.
Oh. Okay, well, I'm done with this. Bird, your head.
It's gone.
What do we do?
Where did my head go? Ah!
All right. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Ben, this is for you, and you will see this later.
This is for you, Ben. What? I don't know. Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
We don't condone violence.
We don't.
No.
We don't. Okay. I hope Hono's here.
Maybe. I don't think Hono's taking the test tomorrow.
Oh. Oh no, you gotta take the test.
This bad boy. Oh.
Alright, I should probably erase this, huh?
Oh, yes.
Should I talk about imaginary numbers?
I hope so. Did we not do that yesterday?
No, we did.
Ah. Wait, you did or you didn't?
We did not. We got sidetracked by all the other questions.
It's true.
Some good questions. Mostly by the dancer that is a robot. Unless there's anything that anybody wants to ask us about, we're going to talk about some complex imaginary numbers right now. Because they're a lot of fun. I think they're fun. Okay. So, complex numbers. That's right. That's what we're talking about today. Until someone else has a question. Complex numbers come in the form a plus bi. An example would be 3 plus 7i. They're called complex because they have 2 components. 2 components, one of which is real. The other one is imaginary. Imagination. Imaginary. All right? I am the square root of -1. Is that what you there, Levi?
Yeah.
Huh. Now, I is the square root of -1. Okay? Taking the square root of a negative number is pretty tricky. So there is a new kind of number that they created, which kind of exists, kind of doesn't. I mean, it depends on what you think of math in general. But anyway, that's how we define I. It's the square root of -1. Okay? So if you have both a real and an imaginary component of a number, it is called a complex number. And it's fun. It's fun. That's the second part, is that it's going to be fun. And if you think it's not, don't worry, it will be. It will be. If it hasn't been fun up to this point in your life, then someone has been teaching you wrongly. And we're about to fix that, to make imaginary numbers the most fun thing that you've ever seen. Levi, are we sure that Restream is working? Sorry, not Restream. Our, oh, it's Restream, isn't it?
Oh, wait. Hono did say something.
When?
Tonight.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to refresh this. I don't know why that's happening. Sorry, guys, we didn't see your comments. But hi. Are you both still here?
We're going to open that back up again. hopefully, we'll see what happens here. Sorry, everyone. Restream chat. Will the old comments come up on Restream chat?
Probably not.
Oh. All right, if you're watching, you can go ahead and post something on our chat. And
So Hono is taking the test tomorrow. I was wrong about that.
oh, you were wrong.
Yeah.
How do you know? Are you looking on your computer?
Yes, Waldo is here.
What kind of comments have we gotten so far?
We've gotten Hono is scared. Waldo the bear is the same. Hono is taking the test. Hono is here, and Waldo is also here.
All right.
That's also the most recent thing.
All right, those are good things. Okay, you guys are scared. Okay, it makes sense. This is a very intimidating test. And one thing to keep in mind is that I don't know if you guys have taken this test yet, but it is not an academic test. This is not a school test. This is not something that, had you studied enough for it, you should expect to get a good grade. This test is designed. Hey, there we go. Oh, is that from?
To read it. No, it just happened.
Just now.
Yeah.
All right. Difficulty 3 math questions.
Okay, we can go sifting for some, but it would probably be better if you found some yourself and then posted them.
Yes. It would be. I can try to find some hard ones.
Well, I can find them, but we can do this. Do you guys know about imaginary numbers? Is everybody totally fine on those?
Anybody want a little recap on it?
We can give a hard question on them, I guess.
Yes. What I was going to say, though, is that the SAT is supposed to be a very difficult test, because if it was too easy, everybody would get good scores on it. Imaginary numbers is easy. Imaginary numbers are easy. Can you tell me how to fill in bubbles?
What?
Phantom unboxing. You use your pencil, and you choose the bubble that corresponds with the letter that you're selecting for your answer. You're good at imaginary numbers. Okay, good. Everyone's chatting now. How do I not screw up filling the bubbles 100% of the time? What are you doing to screw up? What?
Do you know what you screwed up?
Are you erasing and then rewriting, but the machine picks up the wrong thing?
Did you use a number 2 pencil?
Are you skipping a question and then forgetting to skip it on the Scantron so everything's lined up incorrectly?
Or did you skip a question and then all of your answers were wrong after that?
That's kind of where I was going with that.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
I sometimes look to the wrong part when erasing. Okay, Phantom unboxing. You need to be very, very mindful, and you can't just casually erase something. I'm erasing number 20, I want to fill out 40. Right. Here's what you do. You need to start a dialogue with yourself in your head. You need to point to something on the paper, say 40 in your head, go to the Scantron, say 40 again. All right? You need to be very, very consistent and very detail-oriented when you do these things. You have to be careful. You have to be thinking. You can't make any mistakes like this because you owe it to yourself to get the best score possible with the knowledge that you have. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, when you just first said, "Can you tell me how to fill in bubbles?" That sounded like a joke. It did, but now we understand what you're saying, which is a very legitimate question. Yes, you've got to be very, very careful and not let it destroy you. So, have a dialogue going on in your head. I know that sounds weird, but really try to think in terms of things that you're saying inside your head, because you can't really say things out loud. You can whisper them. If you want to mouth them, you want to say 40, and you whisper it, but without actually saying anything, but you mouth it, that will make it a little more kind of ironclad in your head. Because, the more that if you say 40, and you write 40, and you hear 40, there's so many connections going on that, it is going to be very difficult for you to forget that 40 is what you're thinking about. So, perhaps you should try to practice doing that a little bit. Not really practice because there's not a lot of time left, but really remember what it's like to screw that up and how frustrating that is, and use that. Goodbye, Waldo Bear. Have fun at work. Hopefully you get that promotion. Is this a tough question, or is this on Discord?
Yeah, no, it's a tough question.
All right. Is the stream going to be on YouTube? Yes, it is currently on YouTube. I'm still tilted about last SAT where I screwed up bubbles. Yeah, I'd be too. Yeah, that would super stink, because you're just trying to block my head, huh?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not.
All right, fine. Yeah, you don't want to make any sloppy mistakes, and you especially don't want to just screw up something like filling up bubbles. Because that means there are certain questions that you would have gotten right. You have the knowledge, but you didn't deliver.
Are we going to do this or no? We're just not going to do that? We can do some hard questions.
No one really is asking about
at it.
imaginary numbers, yeah.
Oh, no, do you want to talk about stress-relieving tactics? We can also, hey, Aridi, is number 27 at a good level for you? I think it's a... Alan, what's up? Hey. This is from test 8. Yes, I think so. Yeah, test 8.
Nice. Good erasing, Levi.
$27 doesn't seem too hard. Okay, so also keep in mind this is what's hard for some people and not hard for other people. It doesn't really matter. You guys just should ask your questions, and then we will answer them as we go. Just find slope. 36 was hard. Okay, where's my pencil? Or whatever this is. Oh, 36, okay. This is its own thing, yeah? Okay, I can make this a little bit
Make it a little bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I do this one?
Fine. Yes.
All right, make it blow up to the full screen. Just no, not the problem.
What?
Make the screen blow up to the full screen.
I understand now.
Good. In the triangle RST above, point W, not shown, lies on RT. What is the value of the cosine of angle RSW minus the sine of angle WST? Michael Tarub, hello. Find RT with Pythagorean theorem, then use SOHCAHTOA to get cosine and sine. We'll see about that, Aridi. You might be completely wrong or completely right. So they're not showing us W, so let's go ahead and just find, well, we'll just label something as W so we got something to work with. So we have R, this is 12, this is S, this is 5, and then this is T. We have a right triangle. First thing that jumps out at me is we have 5, 12. We have a hypotenuse of 13. You can figure out Pythagorean theorem or use Pythagorean theorem to figure that out. This is also 5, 12, 13 triangle. It's one of the Pythagorean triplets. So that is going to be 13 right there. Just something to chew on here. All right, point W lies on RT. So I'm just going to put W right here. That's where W is. All right. The value of the cosine of angle RSW. So RSW would be this angle right here. Let me put a little color on here. RSW minus the sine of WST. So minus the sine of this. So we're going to call this X. We're going to call that Y. So they're asking us for the cosine of angle X minus the sine of angle Y. Okay. What do you notice about X and Y? Together, they make up a right angle. Okay? Slayer Darth, it's good. Hey there, Brady in chat. Hey, Slayer Darth. I think of Darth Vader when I think Slayer Darth. Something about that. Okay, there's a trig identity we have to know here. So first off, X and Y, they add up together to make a 90-degree angle, which means they are complementary. They're complementary, okay? There is a trig expression, a trig identity you need to know. We'll show you why it works, and you'll see that, oh, it makes a lot of sense, okay? I'm going to put it over here. So here's a right angle. Here's A. Here's B. And then I'm going to give us 3, 4, and 5. Every triangle adds up to 180 in terms of the degrees of, the angles, okay? In a right triangle, 90 of those degrees are already taken care of by the right angle, which means that the other two angles always have to add up to 90. A and B, whatever they are, will always be 90 because 90 is already taken care of over here. We need a total of 180, okay? So it is safe to say that A plus B is equal to 90. And if we solve for either A or B, I'm going to solve this for A right now. A is equal to 90 minus B, okay? 90 minus B. So I can get rid of A, and I'm going to write 90 minus B in its place, because it, along with B, needs to add up to 90. And 90 minus B plus B will give you 90. All right, so far so good. Here's where things get fun. Let's take the sine of B. Sine of B in this triangle would be opposite over hypotenuse, so that's going to be 3 over 5. All right. What if we took the cosine of this angle here? Cosine of 90 minus B. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which would be 3 over 5. It's the same thing. Okay? So the trig identity that we're talking about here looks like this. And there's two ways to look at it. It either is sine of x is equal to the cosine of 90 minus x, or you could also say that the cosine of x is equal to the sine of 90 minus x. Because 90 minus x is the complement of x, okay? So therefore, let's take a look at these again. X and y add up to 90, which means we can call y x minus 90. We can also call x 90 minus y. I'm sorry, we can call y 90 minus x. That's what we're going to do here. So we're going to substitute in 90 minus x right here. And if we look at this, the cosine of x is equal to the sine of 90 minus x. So this thing right here will be equal to this thing right here. And if we take something and subtract something that's equal to it, doesn't matter what number it is, it's 5 minus 5, 10 minus 10, it will always give you 0. All right? Any questions on that? You've got to remember this right here. You got to remember it. Okay? That makes sense. I didn't fully understand the 1600.io explanation. Right, but you do understand the nerdish explanation. So, okay. All right, good. Any other questions? We got a whole night here. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Ask your questions.
You want to do number 35?
Oh, sure, yeah. Let me pull that up then. And let's just move this like that.
Very good.
Let's go down here. Oh boy. Okay, is it the whole thing? That's the whole thing. Yeah.
I just walked with it.
Bird, you can't do that.
I'm a bird. Caw!
You are a bird. You're gonna scare the students.
The students, huh?
Students.
Here, use all you.
Okay.
Go ahead and erase my handiwork.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Let's see. So this is number 35. Despite what Phantom Unboxing said about this 36 being the only one they didn't understand, I'm sure they were lying and they had no idea how to do 35, so I'm going to do it now. Also, we're only doing this because nobody's asking questions. You should definitely ask questions. We will light work. Oh, okay, Phantom. Okay. I see you. I don't see you. That was a dirty lie. Let's see. So we got this function, y equals f of x. If anybody is a little bit uncomfortable with f of x notation, that function stuff, let us know. Yes, we do want you, well, okay. We don't want you to just find hard questions, but questions that are hard for you, yes. We want to answer your question. We don't want to do the work to find the questions because we want to do the work to answer the questions that you have. So go find the questions that you have that are hard for you and then bring them to us. Oh, there you go. Do that. Questions you got wrong that you're still not totally comfortable doing, or you're not comfortable, or you're not confident that you could do a question like that again without knowing this is exactly what I'm supposed to do. Okay, and while you do that, and everybody else should be doing the same thing, I'm very happy to tutor Phantom Unboxing and have everybody else watch us do that, but we don't have to do it that way. We also have a Discord down below wherever you are, and you can, if somebody wants to link the Discord in the chat, just do !Discord. You can post your questions, screenshots of them there, and we can do those specific ones if they're not on one of the big classic free SATs. Thank you, Michael. We haven't seen you before, so welcome, I think, unless I'm wrong. Could totally be wrong. Okay, the graph of the function f defined by f of x equals that thing is shown in the xy plane. If the function g not shown is defined by g of x equals negative x plus 10, what is one possible value of a such that f of a equals g of a? Okay, this is what they like to do on the test. They like to give you a graph, and then they ask you to solve an equation. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, just put them in the Discord. I don't care. Just don't tell me. Us? I don't care. I don't know what you're talking about. Post your questions. In the channel is questions for stream. We can find them otherwise, but put them in the questions for stream channel on our Discord. Okay. What they like to do, they often give you a system of equations and they say solve the system. Or they say this system of equations is graphed, where do they intersect? So you have to understand the overlap between, the idea that the solution to a system of equations is the same thing as the intersection of those functions. That's sort of the opposite of what's going on here. They gave you a picture mainly to throw you off. I think you don't need the picture at all. You could use it if you really wanted. And then they give you another function, and then they also say, when are these two equal? What is a possible value of a when they equal each other? So this is when f of a equals g of a. They could have also written f of x equals g of x. It doesn't really matter. QAS are publicly released SAT. No. I totally understand. I understand that. Post whatever you want. Yeah, okay. I guess if you have, I know you're posting old questions. That's fine. Totally fine. Yeah, I guess if you have the questions for the test tomorrow, don't post those. We'll delete them. Oh no, what's up? English questions with quotes again, like the process, because I keep getting them wrong. So the grammar writing section, section 2, and quotes meaning, what are you talking about? The two-part questions in the reading section where you have the question and then you have all the line numbers and stuff. Let me know. Okay, so in this case, they gave us two functions. They give us f of x equals this thing. They give us g of x equals this other thing. And then they give us f of a equals g of a. This is a function notation question. It's not even a super challenging one as long as you're comfortable with function notation. In this case, we're going to set the two functions equal to each other because that's what they actually tell us to do at the bottom. So section 1, okay, got it. So in this case, we're going to say that 1/2, what is it, negative 1/2, x minus 4 plus 10 equals negative x plus 10. Wait, is that squared? Yes, that certainly changes the problem. We set these equal to each other because this one is f of x, and this one is g of x. And we're supposed to find a value of a such that f of a equals g of a. So with function notation, we're basically just doing that. You want to try to prove it with the prior question. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. Where it asks the question, then the next question is the supporting quotes. Yeah, we can do that next. I don't want to go through too many of them, but I'm happy to do that. We can do that with this test, actually. Okay, so now we just solved this equation. Does anyone want me to actually solve this? Because the answer will be x. Well, we are solving for x, which is, we could have made it a. I don't really care. I'm going to leave it as x. I can solve it. If everybody thinks they're comfortable solving this equation, then I don't have to do it. So let me know if you want me to solve it, or let me know if you don't want me to solve it. Don't just say yes or don't just say no. Say solve it or don't solve it. And then we'll do Hono's thing next. Oh no. Please solve it. Great, okay. Does that mean it's hard? Okay, we'll see. So first I'm going to do PEMDAS stuff, so square this. Remember, this is not x squared minus 16. It is going to, you have to FOIL. You can't distribute an exponent over parentheses when there's addition or subtraction. So here we're going to have negative 1/2 times x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus 10 equals negative x plus 10. So I'm just going to cancel out these 10s right away. And then I'm going to distribute the, do I want to distribute the 1/2? No, that's too much work. I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides. let's make it -2, and let's multiply by -2 on this side, just to make that less work. So x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 2x. Let me know if that didn't make sense. Let's subtract 2x from both sides. We get x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. The reason I set it equal to 0, this is a solving equations thing. One of the obstacles you get when you're trying to solve a system of equations, or sorry, solve equations, is you get it where you can't combine your x terms. When you can't combine your x terms, you factor. Always think of it that way. I don't think, everybody has, a certain level of recognition for things. I see x squared plus or minus 10x, so I know, okay, I clearly need to factor here, right? Your parentheses. But sometimes it doesn't look that way necessarily. Keep in mind that you're always trying to combine your x terms. I can't, so I factor. That ideally is your thought process. Okay, here, so let's think of what multiplies to 16 and adds to -10. So we have 1 and 16, no. We have 2 and 8, yes. So it will be x minus 2 times x minus 8 equals 0. So therefore, the solutions are x equals 2 and x equals 8. What is the question again? What is one possible value? So there are two answers to this question. You can put 2 or you can put 8. It doesn't matter. Both are correct. Anybody have any follow-up questions for this question? There are a couple things going on, or there are many things going on. You need to understand that this is basically asking you to solve a system, or it's asking you, you can go from f of a equals g of a. You can say, well, that's the intersection. How do I find an intersection? I set the two functions equal to each other. Thoughts, questions, concerns, ideas, new questions, old questions, things of that nature. Seems like not, unless we're lagging. I don't know. Are we lagging? Are you in Twitch right now?
No.
Okay. Nobody's saying anything, so let's go to Hono's question.
Was the question, when are the x values the same or when are the y values the same?
Need to use PEMDAS more. Yes, you always need to use PEMDAS. What'd you say?
Was the question, when are the x values?
Yes, one possible value of a when f of a equals g of a.
Got it.
So it's
Okay.
just 2 or 8.
Got it.
Need to use PEMDAS more. Yeah, do it. Bird, you look so functional right now.
Going behind the thing?
Yeah. You behind the... Ow.
Slapping the markers.
Yeah, I know. Is anyone doing the SAT tomorrow? Yes, they are. Pocket Dog, what's up?
Have we had Pocket Dog before?
I don't think so.
Pocket Dog!
Pocket Dog.
Sick and tired of hearing all these Pocket Dogs talk about. What's
I
the deal with
wish.
this Pocket Dog and where's it
You
going?
wish you were taking the SAT tomorrow? Cool. All right. I'm going to get rid of this, and we can do, let's do one 2-part question. Can you erase this while I pull up
Yes,
that?
I'd love that.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to do it more if you gave me the option.
Ah, right. Okay, so this is, for those of you who want to pull it up yourself, this is SAT number 8 of the 8 free practice SATs. So, oh, come on. Go faster. There we go. This is to dry the screen so we can erase it. It's not just me doing a little fun dance. But it does double as me doing a fun little dance. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Nope, this is the wrong way. Bird, you're covered right now. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm
Is there
very
anything that I can do about it?
apologetic. No. Anything
Okay.
you want to do about it?
Maybe. Remember when the computer was not next to the screen?
Yes, that was ideal.
It was very ideal.
Felt it was ideal.
We were also cramped in here with the curtain on the top of my head.
Yes.
Come a long way, Levi.
Hono hadn't even been born yet. That was the crazy part.
Is Hano even born yet?
Hono is currently being birthed.
Wow.
Yeah, just in time for the SAT.
Wow. What great timing, Hono. Keep it up.
Don't think they know Christopher Walken super
Some
well.
of them do. Some of them do.
Christopher Walken is being birthed right now as well.
He's always being birthed.
Yes, that's good. Okay, Hono, 2-part questions. We have, I'm going to do 43 and 44. This is on SAT number 8. This is, it doesn't matter the passage because you can see the question numbers. Okay, so this is the Venus flytrap passage. We don't necessarily have to read the passage for this one. This is just a detailed question. Based on the passage, a significant advantage of the Venus flytrap's requirement for multiple triggers is that, okay, so the approach to these is you really need to understand the question first, okay? Know exactly what it's asking and do not jumble the relationships between the nouns in this question. Okay, so this is based on the passage. Ignore that. We want a significant advantage of the flytrap's requirement for multiple triggers. Okay, so not how the multiple triggers work, but a significant advantage of it requiring that. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're ignoring the answer choices. Don't do this. Don't look at it. Question, then go to the line numbers in 44. Okay, so lines 3 through 7. We are going to read these lines, and we don't care about figuring out exactly what it's saying. We just want to see, does it relate to this well enough? So what was it? 3 through 7. Is that cut off? That's perfect. That's right on the thing. So we should be good. Lines 3 through 7. I'm going to read it here because I can't read that. Not that you guys care. Okay. So line 3. Closing its trap requires a huge expense of energy, and reopening the trap can take several hours. So Dionea, which is this Venus flytrap, only wants to spring closed when it's sure that the dawdling insect visiting its surface is large enough to be worth its time. Okay, so the Venus flytrap spends a ton of energy closing, so it wants to be sure. All right. I actually am not totally against that. That's something that the Venus flytrap needs, and if you've read this passage a little bit, you understand that they do actually have this two-part mechanism. So these are related. Let's leave it. I'm not answering this question yet. Remember, when we are doing this section, we are trying to poke holes in wrong answers, not choose the right answer. Choosing the right answer leads to more mistakes. Okay, 7 through 11. Okay, the large black hairs on their lobes allow the Venus flytraps to literally feel their prey, and they act as triggers that spring the trap closed when the proper prey makes its way across the trap. Okay, this is not right. Not because it's unrelated to the topic, but because it doesn't answer the question. Do we always talk about SAT? We talk about ACT also. We talk about both. It's just those two. We're just doing SAT tonight only because the test is tomorrow. When the ACT comes out, we will do a cram session for the ACT specifically. If you have questions for the ACT that also overlap with the SAT, feel free to ask them. Okay, so 7 through 11, I'm not happy with because it is related to the double trigger mechanism, but it is not explaining what a significant advantage is. That's what we want, the significant advantage resulting from that two-part mechanism. So I don't like B in 44. Please let me know if that doesn't make sense, but that's the thought process here. Don't just look for related words. Make sure that what you have directly answers your question. Okay, we need an advantage, significant advantage of that requirement for multiple triggers. Okay, 11 through 14. Oh, that's the wrong way. Wow, they're just all at the beginning. Okay, that's fine, I guess. If the insect touches just one hair, the trap will not spring shut.
Just like you.
But that doesn't make sense. But a large enough bug will likely touch 2 hairs within about 20 seconds. And that signal springs the Venus flytrap into action. Okay, this is a little bit closer, but I'm not a big fan. I don't hate it enough to get rid of it. I think it is closer. I'm just not a huge fan of how much of an assumption we still have to make. The only thing that shows an actual advantage in these lines are big enough bug. But then you still have to make the assumption that, oh, well, we like bigger bugs. It's still not quite there in those lines. Sorry, these are mine. Okay, and then the last one. Please let me know if this doesn't make sense. Writing and language question number 10, College Board Test 8. Awesome. Hey, Cole Dash, how are you? Nice to meet you. Okay. Let me just write... Blast. This is writing number question 10. We'll do that next. We're just doing these two and then we'll get to yours. Also, keep asking questions. You can put in 50 in our Discord. Well, maybe not that many, but put in questions in our Discord, or you can ask them in the chat. Ideally in the Discord, because then the chat doesn't scroll too fast for us to read. Okay. Then we have lines 16 through 18, so let's do that. You know what? I'm going to change the size of this so I can actually read the line numbers, because I think that's important for me. Yeah, this is way better. Okay, 16 through 18. We have, first, the fly trap encodes the information, forms the memory, that something, it doesn't matter, it doesn't know what, has touched one of its hairs. Again, this is explaining how the process of the double trigger works. It does not tell us about an advantage of that requirement. That is an incredibly important difference that almost every single two-part question and many other questions on this section will try to get you on. They will have line numbers especially that talk about one part of the question, but they don't actually answer the meat of the question. The meat of this question is, what is the advantage of this, not how does it work. Okay? So, going back, I liked 3 through 7 because, let me just scroll up a little bit. Closing the trap requires a lot of energy. Reopening it can take several hours. So it only wants to spring closed when it's sure that the dawdling insect visiting its surface is large enough to be worth its time. I like that. It only wants to be sure. That talks about, that's an advantage. Okay, and then the other one was 7 through 11. We didn't like that. We liked, sorry, I forget what these numbers are. We didn't like 7 through 11, or I didn't, nobody said it any different. And then I liked 11 through 14. If the insect just touches just one hair, the trap will not spring shut, but a large enough bug will likely touch 2. Okay, A and C, I'm okay with both of them. Now let's go back to the first part of this question and see where they line up. So, A, enables the plant to identify the species of its prey. No, species is wrong. That is not supported. It's out. They only talk about big versus small bugs, or big enough. So A is definitely wrong. B, conserves the plant's calcium reserves. That is not supported. Calcium reserves, calcium is definitely discussed later in the essay. That is not the correct answer. That's why we did the line numbers first. Okay, and then C, safeguards the plant's energy supply. Okay, it talks about energy in answer choice A, lines 3 through 7, so that's not bad. And then D, prevents the plant from closing before capturing its prey. No, I don't like D because it does not prevent the plant from closing before capturing its prey. I think that's not really supported by any of these. It's confusing me because it's just not aligned with any of the answer choices in 44. So even though answers A and C in number 44 are both sorta kinda acceptable, the only one that actually lines up with a good answer here is A. So it should go C and then A. Let me know if you have any questions on that, but that should be the approach every time. Identify the question and make sure you understand it fully. Do not jumble the terms. Don't go the wrong direction. If something says, what did the character expect? If that's the question, do not answer with what happened. Find where it says what the character expected. That's a very small, minute difference, and it is what they will test you on. Then go to line numbers, then come back to here. Most of them you can actually get rid of because they're not relevant enough. Okay, so now we're going to the writing and can you use B as well for A since B and C are similar? Sorry, I don't know which question number you're talking about with those. If we're saying B here conserves the plant's calcium, calcium reserves are not mentioned in any of those line numbers, so you can't make that assumption. Calcium is later. I don't think that's a good enough assumption because this is 44 is which provides the best evidence, and it's just those line numbers. So I don't like that if that's what you're saying. And then B and C are similar. Yeah. Okay, so that is what you're saying. B and C are similar, but that's the discrepancy that you have to identify, is that calcium comes later in the essay, and while it is said, that's another assumption. You are not assuming on this test. This is not about how Hono or Koldash or Pocket or Alan can make assumptions. Of course you can. That's what you practice in school. You read a lot and you understand these books that you're reading for class, and then you get asked questions about your understanding and you have to be creative. This is not a creative test. This is evidence-based, okay? don't be too smart. Where you're using your brain power is keeping focus and not getting confused and poking holes in things, not coming up with your own ways to make assumptions. Because as you make more and more assumptions, you're getting farther and farther, or further and further from the text. You're staying on the text. I changed it from farther to further because farther deals with distance only, physical distance. Further deals with all the metaphorical stuff. Okay, number 10 in the writing section here. And then, Bird, you can take over.
Very good.
Are there any questions in the Discord?
Check.
Okay, number 8. Okay, I don't know if I have to scroll anywhere. We'll find out.
No, there are not.
Okay, cool. Hey, people, ask your questions in the Discord, please. Or in the chat, I don't care. All right, so in the writing section, you are identifying the question type first. Number 10. Right. I made that mistake, what, 4 times now? Okay, number 10. Effective transition. Okay, so this is two different things. It's a direction question. Number 11 doesn't ask you something, doesn't say anything. Number 10 does. Now, this direction is very, very simple, which provides the most effective transition from the previous paragraph. Now, an effective transition comes out of the previous paragraph and into this one. We need to know both of those things. So, let's figure out what the previous paragraph is about, okay? Because these and then those questions with, when A is instead and B is however and C is, for example, those are also transition questions. It's the same approach. Identify your first idea and your second idea, and then you're picking the most logical transition between them. Do that before you look at the transition options, okay? You're trying to do work on your own based on the text before you start looking at these answers, because the answers, there are 3 wrong ones, and they're decent wrong answers a lot of the time. So they're trying to pick out mistakes that you could make, so don't give them that option. Go figure it out first, come back and look at the answers. So, what is the previous paragraph talking about? Oh boy, which is a long way away. Oh boy, okay, so lots of paragraphs. I'm going to read this quickly to myself, which is a great use of stream time, but yeah, okay, so in spite of all the components' potential uses, however, compost potential uses, most of this is wasted. According to the EPA, over a lot of stuff ends up in landfills along with 13 million tons of yard debris. Remarkably, less glass was discarded in landfills in that year than any other substance, including plastics or paper. Even worse, even worse than the squandering of this useful resource is the fact that compost in landfills cannot break down due to the lack of necessary air and moisture. Okay, so this is talking about how compost is wasted. A lot of compost ends up in landfills. That is our first idea, okay? Too much compost ends up in landfills, and then I think the end of this paragraph right here is, as a result, organic material that is sent to landfills contribute to the release of methane, a very potent greenhouse gas. So that's an important ending, talking about a greenhouse gas emission thing at the end of that. Then, so that's our first idea. Then we're ignoring that entire underlined portion, okay? Because that's not part of our paragraph. We're deciding to use it or not, so let's ignore it. We're starting with cities. Cities such as SF and Seattle have instituted mandatory composting laws requiring individuals and businesses to use separate bins for compostable waste. This strict approach may not work everywhere. However, I can't read that well. However, given the clear benefits of composting and the environmental costs of not composting, all municipalities should encourage the residents either to create their own compost piles for use in backyard gardens or to dispose of compostable materials in bins for collection. Great. Okay, so bad stuff because a lot of compost ends up in landfills and then is bad, and then this is we should make people compost. Those are our 2 ideas. So how do we connect them? 10, while composting can sometimes lead to accidental pollution through the release of methane gas. Okay. Maybe. I haven't read the rest of this. I'm not sure if composting is the reason that there was compost, so I don't fully understand A, so let's leave it. B, though government regulations vary. No. I don't know why that doesn't transition well from the previous paragraph, right? Because it only talks about governments here. That's not a good transition out. So I don't like B. C, armed with these facts, cities such as San Francisco. Okay, I like that because we did end that previous paragraph with facts. So that's good. And then D, mindful of this setback. I don't like the word setback. It's not like, oh, we've been going on this road for a while and we were composting and then, oh, there are some problems and now going forward. I don't think I like that. I would have to read the rest of this passage, I think, which I don't necessarily want to do. But I think the answer, my first thought would be C, armed with these facts, because we do finish with facts at the end of the previous paragraph. I'm just not sure how, the compost that we're talking about at the end of, at the beginning of that paragraph, I don't know how we got to there. Do you know the answer for this one off the top of your, or do you have it in front of you? I'm guessing it's C, but I just haven't read what's before that. But that approach is the same for all of these questions. They're very simple questions to understand. How do you transition between these things? It's C. Okay, there we go. Also, I mean, you're typing in chat, so I know, but that ITS is possessive. IT apostrophe S is it is. I'm not saying you didn't know that. Just saying. Okay. So the approach is always the same. These are simple questions to understand what you're supposed to be doing. But don't just say, okay, I'm going to put each of these options in and see which one sounds nice. Don't do that. Your gut feeling is really good, but point it at the right stuff. So very consciously identify your two ideas that you're supposed to be connecting and then connect them logically. If you're just throwing things in, you're going to get bogged down by things that you're not super aware of. And so you want to point at the right stuff, be methodical about how you approach these questions. Generally, people don't run out of time on these passages, on the writing section of the SAT, so be willing to take your time. Number 10 is a transition question. Especially between paragraphs, these questions can take a long time. But that's fine because questions like number 11 are much, much faster. Okay, more questions from all of you. Whatever you want to ask, I'm happy to do more stuff. Question 21, writing and language, College Board test. You are very specific, and I like it. And I'm not going to mess it up this time. Number 21. Okay, so let's try to identify what type of question this is first. Okay, again, this is only Cole Dash asking questions, which is fine with me, but other people should ask questions too. But keep asking your questions, Cole Dash. All right, 21. We have lion snares the envelope with its teeth. We have envelope is snared by the lion with its teeth. And we have teeth of the lion snare the envelope. And then in A, we have lion's teeth snare the envelope. Okay. There's no change in punctuation. There's no change in tense. There's no change in amount of information. So there's a change in the subject. That's where the change is. We have lion snares the envelope. Then we have the envelope is snared. So that's passive voice. So I'm not a huge fan of passive voice. If you don't know what that is, let me know. And I'll tell you. D, we have the teeth of the lion. So now it's the teeth that's the subject. And in 21, we also have the lion's teeth snare the envelope. So we have a change in subject. Let's be very aware of that and read the sentence. Approaching a doorway in which dangles a red envelope filled with green paper money, the lion's teeth snare the envelope. Okay, so one of the things that can be helpful for recognizing what you're supposed to be looking at in this question is the fact that this sentence starts with a verb. You don't have the subject of the sentence at the beginning, which means your subject is going to come later. And we have that comma after money. That is a comma that is offsetting a non-essential. If you don't know what non-essentials are, we do have to talk about that right away. Or a positives, I don't know what you call it. Or I don't know what you call it. I know what people call it. So we have this whole non-essential before the comma. It has to describe what comes right after. So that means your subject is going to come right after. So approaching the doorway in which dangles a red envelope filled with green paper money. something, then we have the subject. So whatever is describing the subject has to be able to do that thing. So approaching a doorway is something that the subject does first, and then it does other stuff. So can lion's teeth approach a doorway? No. Can the lion approach a doorway? Yes. I see the lion padding up to the doorway and then grabbing the envelope. That's pretty good. Can an envelope approach a doorway? No. Can the teeth of the lion approach a doorway? No. The answer is B. Okay? Now that concept of what can the subject do, like, of course, contextually, only a lion can approach a doorway, not an envelope. I put 3 questions in Discord. Awesome. Thank you. 13 through 15 if you want to look at that. Thank you. So this is more about recognizing when you're supposed to be paying attention to this. Be careful when your subject is changing in a sentence. Nothing else is changing. The punctuation is the same. The information there is the same information. You're not losing or gaining information. But the subject changes. Be very careful of this misplaced modifier thing at the beginning, or a dangling modifier. It's hanging out at the beginning of the sentence. It describes what comes right after the comma, which is the subject. Make sure your subject makes sense. Another example of this, and I do this example a decent amount, is running down the street. Now you have 2 options. You can say, I tripped on a rock, or you can say, the rock tripped me. Which one is right? If you're just looking at this part, who knows, right? The rock can trip you, or I tripped on a rock. Either way works. One, and passive voice isn't really a thing here. But we notice that the subject has changed. If the subject changes, look here. Who can run down the street? A person, not a rock. Now, if I capitalize it, then it could be Dwayne Johnson. Doesn't matter. We want I tripped on a rock. Okay? Does that approach make sense?
Everyone thinks Dwayne Johnson's like super strong. He's honestly not that muscular.
Yeah, not as muscular as you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to turn the overlay off. Or you want Hona's question?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go find that. Yeah, good. More questions. Oh no.
Did you post in SAT Discord?
About what?
You're gonna copy your Reddit post.
No. Did you?
No, I told you I couldn't.
Right. What did I do?
Nothing, apparently.
Right. Can you erase that?
Yeah.
You proud of me?
Very good.
13 through 15, right?
Yeah.
Good enough? Ooh, are you happy with that, Bird?
Yeah. Just make it all big, like I usually do. All right, Hono, this is for you. This is for you. Number 13. Which choice provides the most logical introduction to the sentence? The sentence is, despite having worked for railroad companies, Fred Harvey, an English-born entrepreneur, period. Well, okay, first off, that's not a sentence, which is why 14 is probably one we should go over first, and then we'll come back to 13. So number 14, we clearly don't have a sentence here because it ends with Fred Harvey, an English-born entrepreneur. There's no verb there. We need to have a verb there. So let's look at our options. A, no change. That can't be right because we need to change it. Okay, B, we have a colon. Wait. So wait, you have B. Okay, I see that you originally put B, but the answer is actually D. Because it looks like you might have flipped this. But anyway, with a colon, you have to have a full sentence before the colon. We don't have a full sentence before the colon. We still have Fred Harvey, an English-born entrepreneur. Not a sentence, so we can't use a colon. Right. The answer is B. That's a colon. No, it's not. It can't be. It can't be. Because 14 has he in it as well. So I think if you put D, you're correct here. The answer is not B. The answer is D. I think you might have looked at the answer key wrong, but 14 has the word he underlined, which means if you put B, you'd be taking he out, and you just have Fred Harvey, English-born entrepreneur, colon, decided to open his own restaurant. That wouldn't make any sense. A colon needs to come after a full sentence, so right now it's not, because we'd just be ending it with an English-born entrepreneur, and that's not a sentence. So if you go down to D, we have a comma after entrepreneur. Here's why that makes sense. All of these answers, except for no change, I swear it says B, that's why I'm so confused. I promise you that it is not B. I promise you. I'm not sure where you got the answer key. Erica Meltzer has some wrong answers. There you go. Yes. It's just not B. Okay. B, we use a semicolon. So C is wrong for the same reason. A semicolon and a colon must be used after a complete sentence, and we still don't have a complete sentence here. So it's going to have to be D, and here's why. The comma after entrepreneur is the ending of an interrupting element, one that starts with an English-born. So we have Fred Harvey, comma, an English-born entrepreneur, comma, decided to open his own restaurant business to serve rail customers. So if you take away the interrupting element, which is an English-born entrepreneur, you have Fred Harvey decided to open his own restaurant. That's the original independent clause there. So an English-born entrepreneur needs to be surrounded by commas, and it starts with a comma, so it's got to end with a comma, which is why D is correct. So Hono, the good news is you got 14 right. It is supposed to be D. It's not B. Okay? So let's go back now to 13. The most logical introduction to the sentence. So we probably should look at what's happening before, because we never want to think about just inserting something without knowing where it's going in the context of the whole paragraph. So I'm going to read the sentence before, which is, it's very, very short up until this point. I'm just going to read the whole thing. Just as travelers taking road trips today may need to take a break for food at a rest area along the highway, settlers traversing the American West by train in the mid-1800s often found themselves in need of refreshment. However, food available on rail lines was generally of terrible quality. Then we get to this. Despite having worked for railroad companies, Fred Harvey decided to open up his own restaurant. All right, so first off, no change doesn't make sense. Despite having worked for railroad companies, the fact that we have despite there implies there's some kind of a contradiction, and yet these two ideas don't really contradict. Okay, so he worked for some railroad companies, and now he's opening his own restaurant. It doesn't really conflict that much, so despite, it doesn't really connect that well. All right, he lived in New York and New Orleans, so he decided to open up his own restaurant business. That also doesn't make sense. Even though those things might be true, there's no logical connection there, especially because you have the word so. So implies an explanation for something. So because he lived in New York and New Orleans, because of that, he decided to open up his own restaurant. Again, there's no real need to open up a restaurant, even if you lived in New York and New Orleans, okay? Then we have, to capitalize on the demand for good food, Fred Harvey decided to open up his own restaurant business. That makes sense. That is a logical introduction that explains why he's doing this, okay? So getting rid of, deleting the underlined portion, you only want to do that if nothing really is a logical introduction to the sentence. And we have a very good one because it explains his actions. Why did he do what he did? Especially because the sentence before says the food was terrible. So there must have been demand for good food, and that's why he did this. All right, now we're on to number 15. So the sentence here is, these Harvey houses, which are right over here, which constituted the first restaurant chain in the United States, was unique for its high standards of service and quality, okay? We have was unique, were unique, we have for their and for its. Okay, so first let's start with was and were. This is a subject verb. We got a little follower. Thank you, Astro OSU. Thanks. We were actually just talking about how you hadn't followed us yet, so we're glad that you have. Anyway, the difference between was and were is the subject-verb agreement. All right, you wouldn't say he were, you would say he was. You wouldn't say they was, you would say they were. All right, so we have to zero in on what the subject is in order to understand which verb must go with it. So these Harvey houses, which constituted the first restaurant chain in the United States, notice that there is a comma after Harvey houses, and then there's a comma after United States. You should recognize that that is an interrupting element right there, okay? Which constituted the first restaurant chain in the United States. We need to be able to pull that out. And the reason why that's super important is because it is blocking us from going straight from the subject to the verb, and it's putting all the stuff in between that kind of distracts us. So what you want to do in this case is just remove that stuff and read what we have left. These Harvey houses was unique for its high standards. Okay, these Harvey houses, that's plural. We would not say these Harvey houses was unique. We'd say these Harvey houses were unique. One trick you can do here is if it's plural, insert the word they. Don't even worry about these Harvey houses. Now that you've established that they're plural, put the word they in there. Do we say they was or they were? We say they were. Okay? So that eliminates no change. It also eliminates C. So we're left with were unique for there and were unique for its. All right? The difference between its and there, they're both possessive. All right? Like the bus lost its wheels, the crowd lost their pitchforks. Okay? It just depends on what the original subject is, the thing that's doing the possessing. Okay? So what is the thing that is possessing the high standards of service and quality? Again, go back to earlier in the sentence. We have the Harvey houses. These Harvey houses were unique for blank high standards of service and quality. They are plural. So they were unique for their high standards and services. It's going to be there because it is applying to an original subject that's plural, which is, so the answer is going to be B here. We're unique for there. Its is singular, right? We would say, maybe we could say one Harvey house was unique for its high quality. But that's one Harvey house, and here we have plural, multiple Harvey houses. All right, Hono, let me know if any of that doesn't make sense. Good news is you got 14 right. I assure you, I would swear it on my dead body. I don't have that yet. I mostly have the body that I'll have when I'm eventually dead. But regardless, you got that one right. Okay, Levi, we got more?
Yes, we do.
Very good.
We got a new question in the Discord.
Oh, is it math or English?
It's math.
Oh.
Yeah. We can maybe do it together. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you were up here for a while.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay. All right, there's a little, whatever this is called, blurry, doesn't matter.
Don't worry about it. It's got some nice...
I'm not worried.
You seem a little worried.
Not worried.
Okay, Ryan.
I forget, was it Ryan who posted this?
It was Ryan.
Welcome.
Ryan, which one are you?
Well
on the
met.
chat.
Well met, Ryan.
You watching, Ryan?
Yeah, he's watching.
I hope he's watching.
Can I draw while you talk?
If I'm taking multiple subject tests tomorrow, can I just decide not to take the ones I don't want to?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't you? Can you?
No, can you?
I mean, I suppose if you don't show up, they're not like going to give you zeros.
Although it depends. I don't know how I haven't taken the subject test in a while. They might just throw whatever test you're doing at you.
Baribal, you should look this up because this is a very simple question that the College Board probably has on their website. So we're not totally familiar with all the policies, but we're going to guess you probably can just decide not to take it. You're forfeiting the money that you paid to take it. Anyway, a town's Chamber of Commerce printed a map of the business district. The map is 12 inches square, and 1 inch on the map represents an actual distance of 300 feet. All right. You want to write that little scale? 1 inch, 300 feet? Very good. On the map, a parking lot for one business is represented by a square with side lengths 0.25 inches. What is the actual area in square feet of the parking lot? Okay, so we got a parking lot that is a square that is 0.25 inches on both sides. So you got two different paths you can take here, and one of them is going to be less prone to error. The first thing you could do, and this is one that I recommend, let's convert these to feet before we multiply them together and create area. And there's a reason why. But we'll talk about that in a sec. All right, let's do that first. So 0.25 inches, how many would that be in feet if we're going to use the scale where 1 inch represents 300 feet? Is he running backwards or is the video flipped?
Yes.
The answer to that, Baribal, is yes. So 0.25 inches, we are doing unit conversion times. We know that 1 inch is 300 feet. So So if we write it this way, the inches will cancel out, which is what we want. Oh, sorry, this should be feet. And that's going to give us 1/4 of 300, which is going to be 75. Okay, so that means that these side lengths are 75 feet and 75 feet. Great. Now we should, I'm sorry, it looks like there's 0.25 inches is connected to that somehow. Now we just multiply 75 squared, and that's going to get us the area of this thing. Levi,
Yes.
can you do 75 squared for me?
Yes. 5625.
5625. Thank you, Levi.
Mm-hmm.
5625 feet squared. Wow, I almost got it on the screen. Here we go, feet squared. Now let me show you what would have happened if you had done it just using the inches from the get-go. Levi,
Yes.
0.25 times 0.25.
0.625, right?
No,
Or not 0.625, but like.
0.0625?
Yeah, something like that. That's my guess. I'm not. Don't listen to me though.
Can you do it?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Okay.
0.65, yeah.
Okay. All right, if you multiply the inches together, let me see, I didn't even realize this existed. Pichu Radio. We didn't realize you existed either. So this is good for both of us. I'm late for this SAT though. Okay, someone just posted on YouTube, guys. Pichu, we also have this going on Twitch and YouTube. I'm sorry, you're on YouTube. We also have this going on Twitch and Facebook, so you're not going to be able to see. Yeah, anyway, so this is 0.0625 inches squared of area. And then you say, oh, let me just convert this to feet. So the conversion rate is 1 inch to 300 feet. So this shouldn't be too bad. We just multiply this by 300 over 1 inch. Levi,
Yes.
0.0625 times 300. You're my calculator boy.
Yes. 1875. 18.75.
18.75
Yeah.
feet squared. What did we do wrong? Here's what you did wrong. Area. This is a conversion rate for length, okay? Not for area. If you think that 12 inches is in 1 foot, so you think that 1 foot squared would mean 12 inches squared, then you got something coming to you, man. Let's talk about 1 square foot. 1 square foot, it is a square that is 1 foot by 1 foot. But if you want to find the area in inches, 1 foot is 12 inches. 1 foot is 12 inches. Multiply those two sides together, and you get 144 inches squared. Not 12 inches squared, okay? There's a different conversion rate going on for area that you'd have to figure out. So if you wanted to figure out, if you wanted to figure out the difference between inch squared and feet squared on this scale, you'd have to square both of these things. So 1 square inch would be 300 squared feet squared. It'd be a lot bigger. Okay, that would be 9 with 4 zeros after it. That's 90,000. So 0.0625 times 90,000, that's what's going to get you 5,625. So I would always recommend convert everything before you start finding area and volume. It's just going to make your life a little bit easier. You're going to have a better time. Okay? Your friends are going to want to hang out with you more. Parents are going to buy you more gifts for your birthday.
Is that what happened for you, Bird?
That's what I wish happened for me.
All right.
Are we also doing the next one?
Oh, yeah. Do you only do 37?
Yeah.
Yeah, do 38.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, they didn't say, but yeah.
I don't
Should I
didn't
erase
say
all this?
37 either.
That's true. They just posted the question, so feasibly,
Let's do
we weren't
38.
supposed to do any of
Let's
this.
do 38.
Probably shouldn't have even done that.
That's not true.
Probably take down the stream.
Take down the stream.
Yeah, take it down.
Let's do 38. Come on.
You want me to? Or you've been doing this.
I'm taking the SAT tomorrow, and I'm a sophomore right now. I didn't prep as much as I feel like I should have. Should I risk a low score for the first try, or should I skip? Took one practice, 1430. Hey, if your first practice is a 1430, take it tomorrow. 1430 is a great score.
Yeah, just don't hand it in, though. Take it, run out, sell that test. Do that.
Yep. And
That's a
with the
very
money,
bad idea. Please don't do that.
with the money you get, invest in
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Yeah, we just got a tip from the inside that Bitcoin's about to explode.
Yep, going to explode.
Going to literally explode. Everyone that has one will be blown up.
Yes, Bitcoin and college preparatory exam cheating rings are like this.
Yes.
Speaking of, Brady and I are sponsored by, and by sponsored by, we mean we're not paid anything by them. We just use this to build the light board, by Tight Bond glue, wood glue, original wood glue.
Tight Bond original wood glue.
It's the industry standard.
Because Levi and I have
A
Tight Bond.
Yeah, great.
Great. All right, speaking of that, let's do 38.
Yeah.
Gray Stains, take it tomorrow. You're going to be fine.
That's a phenomenal segue, speaking of that. It's more like speaking of what you want to talk about.
Me?
Yeah.
Why? 38?
Yeah.
I like doing math.
You always talk about 38.
Well, I like... What's that blue thing at the bottom left?
That's a great question, Hono.
That is a great...
We don't condone
great
violence,
question.
by the way.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
No.
absolutely not.
This is Alta Ipsum.
Alta Ipsum.
This is Hono.
Yeah, you guys should meet. Alta Ipsum is Latin for a phrase that is in English, which you might have heard, called summit yourself.
Yeah,
which
do you remember
means-
when you were growing up and your mother and father and everybody around you always said summit yourself?
Right? Like, get to the top of who you
Right.
can be.
Right, that was your
Alta-
first phrase?
That was the
Sorry.
first thing. That's
Yeah.
the first thing I said.
That's the first thing I thought.
Right?
Yes.
Yes,
I didn't
exactly.
speak for 18 years, though.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense. But Alta Ipsum was what was on your mind the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah, Alta Ipsum is it's a program that you can go on your smartphone, you can put it on your computer, you can put it on your little Game Boy, you can
Alta
put it on
Ipsum.
your Palm Pilot, on your BlackBerry, on your Tamagotchi.
It's what's for breakfast.
It's what's for breakfast. It lets you plan out your academic schedule. It lets you track your grades, set your goals. It lets you track your academic schedule, track your grades, set your goals. Am I missing anything?
No, but it consistently does those things.
It
for
doesn't
you.
stop
it doesn't
doing those
stop
things.
Doing
Exactly. It exports the stress from you, trying to keep ahead of all the things you have to do, and it puts it in this little app. And this app feels so much stress, but you're not feeling the stress.
Right.
And it's free for a month. Anything else?
No, that's everything.
Very good. That's
Yeah.
everything that exists.
Yeah, so that will be on the SAT tomorrow.
Yes, it
So
will.
it's a good thing that you know about
Got to
it.
be ready.
Yeah.
All right, 38. A larger version of the same map of the business district is printed with a side length 50% longer than the side length of the previous map. On the larger map, what is the actual distance in feet represented by 1 inch? Very interesting. I shouldn't have erased that first picture. The first picture, we have 12 inches square and 1 inch. Okay. Map of the business district, the map is 12 inches square and 1 inch on the map. Okay, interesting. So the original map, we do not know the dimensions, but we know that it is 12 square inches of area. Fantastic. And now, the lengths. All right, the side lengths are 50% longer than the side length of the previous map. Same map of the business district is printed with the side length. Okay. On the larger map, what is the actual distance in feet represented by 1 inch? Okay. Okay. Very good. So, if our map was 50% longer, okay? 50% longer, it would end up looking something like this. Okay, thank you for following Gray Stains. Yay, Gray Stains! I don't know what's causing those gray stains, but you gotta try to figure that out. What is the new area of the town going to be? It used to be 12 inches squared on this map. Now the side lengths are 1.5 times what they were before. So we kind of have this 1.5x thing going on. 1.5x. You know, I think this is actually a lot simpler than this. 1 inch was 300 feet. Okay? Now the same length on the map, so a 300-foot length in real life, would be represented by a slightly larger map, which would mean that if these lengths on the map were just 50% larger, this would turn into 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches would represent 300 feet now. And the question is, what is the actual distance in feet represented by 1 inch? So if 1.5 inch represents 300 feet, in order to figure out what that is just in terms of 1 inch, we're just going to have to divide both sides by 1.5.
200 milord.
Okay, so that's going to mean that this is going to turn into 1 inch, and this is going to be, is it 200?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be 200. So 1 inch will now represent 200 feet, so that 1.5 inches is going to represent the original 300 feet. Is that cool with you guys? Levi, does that make sense?
Makes sense to you. Does that help?
No.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go on to somebody's question. I forget your username, but in the Discord. For those of you who just got here, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So if we're responding to somebody's comments, then if you see them, great. Most people are on Twitch, but we have YouTube and Facebook as well. We have a Discord, and if you follow the link, it's in the description of these different things. On Twitch, it's down below in the panels, or somebody on Twitch can link it for you. You can put questions there. That's where we're getting these questions from. So we're not just making all these questions up. Somebody just posted this question. So if you want us to answer a question of yours, take a screenshot, send it to us on Discord. I will see.
What?
We have to teach them, Bert.
Teach them what? How to be humans?
Yes.
Or how to be dancers?
How to be robots.
Who dance?
Yep. What do we got here? Oh, good. Yeah, we got more people. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, whatever.
Wait, why is it still 300 feet? It's not, it's 200 feet. We just erased it. 1.5, okay, so 1 inch represented 300 feet. Then they made the map bigger, so that what used to be 1 inch is now 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches represents 300 feet now. But they only are asking about what does 1 inch represent. So you have to divide by 1.5 to get back to 1 inch. And if you do that, you're going to get to 200 feet. All right? Oh, perfect. Okay, good. I don't have to draw anything.
Okay, this one. Go away. I want to do it.
You want to do it?
Yeah. Well, I don't want you to go away. Go away.
I'll be behind
just,
it.
Yeah, just stand behind it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forget you behind there though.
Good.
Okay. So we have this quadratic in standard form. Standard form is very important. If it's in vertex form, it gives you the vertex. If you don't know vertex form, I can explain it, or you can just look it up. It's on Khan Academy if you want that. I don't want to take time to go through all of the ins and outs of both of those forms. But this is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Ax or y equals that. Ax squared plus bx plus c. And our equation is y equals x squared plus 2x plus 2. The vertex, the x value of the vertex, so x value of the vertex equals -2, no, it doesn't. Blast. It equals -b over 2a.
Yay!
Okay, that is the x value of the vertex when you have your equation written in standard form. Okay, from there we're just going to use it to solve the x value of the vertex, and then we can use that in this equation or in these graphs. So, -b over 2a is -2 over 2 times 1, which is -1. Great, so that's the x value, which means that c is wrong and d is wrong because both of them are on the right side of the y-axis, so x is positive. Now I can't really tell where 1 is and where, or sorry, -1 and anything else. So I'm not sure about a versus b. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in -1 because the vertex is going to be -1, and then we're going to have a y value here. We can figure out what the y value is.
What the y value?
What the y value is by plugging it into the equation.
Yeah, Professor, I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
I have a question. What is the square root of 9?
3?
No, the square root of 9.
Oh.
It is 3. I'm just
it
kidding.
Is 3. I don't know.
I'm going to go in my cave.
Yeah, go in there. Okay. So we're going to have y equals -1 squared plus 2 times -1 plus 2, which will be 1 plus -2 plus 2. These cancel, so it equals 1. So this is 1. So the answer is A because...
No!
Wait, no, it's not. It's not A because the y value of the vertex there is negative. It's below the x-axis, so that's no good. So this is our answer. Any questions? Minkyo, I think this was you who... put this one in. So, Mink, does this approach make sense? This is the big guy here.
Ooh, I have a question.
What's your question?
Do you ever think about the discriminant?
Do I ever think about the discriminant? I do sometimes.
I'm just kidding.
When I'm going to sleep at night and I've finished reading my book.
What do you
and I'm
read?
just holding my book.
What are you reading now?
My book.
Great. I didn't know that formula. Well, now you do, Minkyo. Remember
Now
it.
you do.
Put it in your nog word.
Yes.
Any alternative approach to this kind of problems?
Oh, yes.
There's a couple alternative approaches. Okay. Another you could think of. This is not going to help you, but
have somebody put a bunch of oil on your neck and then lay hands. That's one of alternative approaches.
no, I want to say it.
Yeah, okay.
You got a graphing calculator with you for this test. If you don't, you should have one. Plug the equation into your graphing calculator and see what the graph looks like. It's going to look like this. This one right here. Okay? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Loose lips sink ships. Buy your war bonds. Plant vegetables in your victory gardens.
For the war effort.
For the war effort. Our boys need it. This was a no-calc section.
Also, another
well,
alternative.
then don't use your calculator for this.
Just cheat.
No.
Oh, don't cheat. Oh, another way. Yes, okay, there is another way. You can do x-intercepts here, right? Because all of these have different x-intercepts. So what you do is you say, well, for the x-intercept, this is super important. Use this for the rest of your lives. Your entire life depends on this moment right now, so listen to me. Alta ipsum. Just kidding. Ignore that. This is the idea that I've just totally lost my train of thought. Okay, if you're looking at x-intercepts, that means your y value is 0. This is where factoring comes from half the time, is we have this equation here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set y equal to 0, because if we do that, we know we're going to be on the x-axis because there's no up and down stuff, right?
So the professor is absolutely right.
Go ahead. So we're going to factor this guy, which is going to give us x plus 1. What?
It can't factor.
That doesn't factor.
No.
Wait, what?
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't factor that nicely. So what you have to do is you have to do
Quadratic formula.
Quadratic formula, which is
Takes a while.
x equals negative. Just do quadratic formula. Solve for the x values. Those will have to be the intercepts there. It will give you b, because it doesn't work.
And there's another thing here. Okay. There's a couple differences between these graphs. Okay. One thing they all have in common is they have a y-intercept of positive 2, which we have up here. So that doesn't help. But the amount of solutions that each one of them has does differ. This one has 2 solutions. Note, solutions means x-intercepts. This one has 2 solutions. This one has no solutions. This one has no solutions. This one has 2 solutions. So there's another way you can narrow this down, which is the discriminant. All right? The discriminant is when you use, here we go, b squared minus 4ac. That is what is in the quadratic formula. That's underneath the square root. All right? So if you know what the discriminant is, you'll know if you're taking the square root of a positive, 0, or negative number. And that's what tells you if there's going to be 2 solutions, 1 solution, or 0 solutions. Okay?
Also, if you know the... Wait, did you finish?
Well, I mean, if the discriminant is positive, you're going to have 2 solutions. If it's negative, you're going to have 0 solutions. If it's 0, you're going to get 1 solution. So in this case, if we plug in our b, our a, and your c, you're going to get 4, sorry, Levi, minus 4 times 1 times 2, which is going to be 4. Wait, hold on, b.
Yeah,
4
you're
minus.
Good. You're good.
Wait, hold on.
You're good. You're happy. Stop. Just go. I thought discriminant was to find how many roots. Yes, it is. Roots, factors, intercepts, solutions, zeros. They're all the same thing.
They're all the same thing. Right. We have a negative discriminant, which means we have no real solutions, which means it's either got to be b or c, because both of them don't have any real solutions, roots, intercepts, or zeros.
Last way to do this is to know the answer off at the beginning. You know it's b, so look at the graph for b. That's what your answer is going to look like.
Yes.
Yes.
We'd recommend memorizing the graph of x squared plus 2x plus 2 and x squared minus 7x plus 3. Both of those graphs are crucial.
We do have another question.
But yeah, Cold Ash. Remember, roots, solutions, zeros, and x-intercepts are all the same thing.
Oh, wait, no, we have this. Let's do Hono's question. Oh, Hono's got 2. Okay, so we got Hono, and then we go back to the other one. Oh, I should look at that. Here we go. And here we go.
Well, that...
Wait, what?
It's cut off now, Levi.
It was cut off before,
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
You're ruining everything.
You're ruining it. Oh, no!
You always do this.
Do I?
I don't know.
I don't mean to. Okay, Hono, this is your question. Nate walks 25 meters in 13.7 seconds. It's good that you're annotating your work. If he, we're not kidding, that's important. If he walks at this same rate, which of the following is closest to the distance he will walk in 4 minutes? Okay.
I'm going to tell you something right now, Levi.
Don't.
No?
Don't tell me anything.
Well, I'm going to tell the students then. you got two different time units here, 13.7 seconds and 4 minutes. All right, not really great to have different units. So if you want to turn one into the other, I think that'd be a great idea. And I think it probably would be easier to turn 4 minutes into seconds rather than 13.7 seconds into minutes. Both of them are fine. However, 4 minutes times 60 seconds a minute is going to be 240 seconds. So
Why not 3, my lord?
it's just not. It's 240 seconds.
No, 243s, my lord.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, so this one, we're gonna do that 4 minutes, I'm just writing what Bird just said, equals 240 seconds. Now, this is a proportion problem. When you have a rate, and then you're saying, okay, how far do we go at this other distance? We're going to say the distance, and we can do this any way we want, more or less, so 25 meters in 13.7 seconds equals x meters in 240 seconds. Let's multiply both sides by 240. And we get whatever that is. These cancel. That's what x is. So 240 times 25 divided by 13.7. I don't know what that is.
You could also cross multiply. Levi did this in one step. Cross multiplying is 2 steps, so he knows to shorten his work a little bit. But for a lot of you, when you set up a proportion, you always multiply that by that and then this by this. But it's not totally necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel dumb. I didn't convert 4 minutes. Oh no, don't feel dumb. Just convert 4 minutes next time.
Yes.
That's all.
Field the 4 minutes.
If you had done this
And convert the dumb.
with 4, then you would have gotten a shorter distance, which should be kind of a sanity check for you. You would have gotten something like, I don't know, like 10 meters. And think to yourself, does that make any sense? It shouldn't. So something must have gone wrong there. But then, yeah, you just do your little conversion.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Also, you can do it that way, where you say
Rate equals distance divided by time. Yes? So you know your rate is 25 over 13.7 meters per second. And then that equals your distance. Well, let's say now our distance we don't know, so it's x.
It's the same exact thing.
It is exact. I know it's the same exact
I
thing,
know.
but I'm saying you use this or you use a proportion. They end up being identical.
No, yes, I mean,
All things are identical.
In general-
when written in yellow. Go
that's
ahead.
true. If you're going to do this, you'd calculate your rate first by doing 25 divided by 13.7. So you'd actually get a number here that's, meters per second, not just otherwise you're going to set up a proportion. Both things are fine. That's
Yes.
all. That's all I'm saying.
But one is better. Mine.
Yes.
All right.
Let's go back to the other math problem.
Oh, we will go back to the other math problem, Bird.
Really?
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, that's what I want.
Okay. Okay, so this one's going to be relatively quick. And you can do it.
Thank you, Levi.
Yes, Bird. Ooh, excuse you. Okay, Bird, which of the following values is a solution to the equation above?
What do we have here? 4x squared. Can you make that everything big?
I could.
There we go. 4v squared plus 6v plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, well, this is a quadratic, even though we don't have x. V is our x value, so to speak, if you will, proverbially.
And if you won't.
And if you won't. Right, exactly. So we just have to apply the quadratic formula to solve this. That's all we have to do. That's all we have to do. That's all we have to do. Hey, okay,
So
so
always said that to me.
A would be 4. B would be 6. C would be 1. Okay? Those are the coefficients here. So x equals, I'm going to use a different color here. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 ac. I know I have to all over 2a. All right. Simplify. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 16 all over 8. I'm going to keep going here. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of, that's going to be 20 all over 8. I'm going to keep going here. Negative 6 plus or minus, so 20 is 4 times 5 all over 8. I'm going to keep going here. Negative 6 plus or minus 2 times root 5 all over 8. And now I can do a little bit of simplification fraction-wise. I'm going to divide everything by 2. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 4. Which of the following values is a solution? Well, A is a solution, and that's it. There's also a solution where you subtract. I'm not seeing that. That's fine. A is the only one that works here. Okay? I hope that made sense, my lord. Levi, what's the next one? I'm scared. Oh.
Is there?
Minkyo, quadratic formula. It's what's for dinner. Isn't there? Did Hono have another one?
Yes, my lord.
Okay.
Do you want to do it or you want me to do it?
I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Oh, we got Minkyo's got another one. Oh, this is sick. All right. Let's go. Come on. There we go.
Oh, let's do Peach's question. Unless you're already set up, and then we can do it next.
We're doing. Yep. No. Hold on. How do I, Levi? How do I crop?
Alt.
I got it. Alt Ipsum.
Sort of.
Oh, you know what? I need to see all this actually. I can crop just a little bit.
Oh, the race.
Very good.
Oi.
Okay. So we have an object on Earth has a weight of what does that say? Jeez. Has a weight of 150 newtons. On which planet would the same object have an approximate weight of 170 newtons? Great. That's so good. Well, there's a lot of context you have to understand that's coming from the left side of this page. We got a bunch of planets and a bunch of different accelerations on each of those planets. The chart above shows approximations of the acceleration due to gravity for the 8 planets in our solar system. The weight of an object on a given planet can be found with the formula W is equal to mg, where W is the weight, m is the mass, and g is the acceleration due to the gravity on the planet measured in meters per second squared. Okay, that is the formula we need to use here. W is equal to mg. All right, great. So that's weight is equal to mass times gravitational acceleration. An object on Earth has a weight of 150 newtons. Okay, let's see what we can do with that. That is the weight of the object. 150 newtons. Okay. The thing we don't know in this equation is the mass. So let's put m in there for the mass. The g on Earth is given to us in the chart, which is 9.8. So right off the bat, and I'm not exactly sure that this is what I need to solve for, but it seems to be presenting itself as something that we're missing. So let's go ahead and solve for that. We want to solve for m. We want to divide everything by 9.8. Levi. My calculator boy is gone.
What's up, Bird?
I mean, I have a phone. I can just do the calculator on this.
No, it's fine. I'll do it.
No, it's fine. I got it. Divided by 9.8. 15.3. 15.3. Okay, so 15.3. So that's the mass of the object in kilograms. Great. They want us to know on which planet would it have a weight of 170 newtons. Okay, so weight is equal to mg. We're not done yet. We have a mass of 15.3 kilograms, but we now have a new weight. The new weight is 170 newtons. So we're going to put that in for W. We know our mass is 15.3. The thing that has changed is our gravitational acceleration. Okay? We'll do some synthetic division. I'll put that right here. Okay? The thing that's changed is our g value. Every planet has a different g value. So let's find the g value that would make this weight happen with a mass of 15.3, and then look at which planet actually has that as its g value. So we're dividing by 15.3, dividing by 15.3, and we're going to get, here we go. This is it. 170 divided by 15.3 is equal to 11.11. Which planet has something close to that? Saturn. Saturn has that. Okay? So Hono, I think the thing that confused you here is newtons is weight. And weight depends on where you are in the solar system. Okay? Your mass is constant. Anywhere you go, any planet you go on, your mass is always going to be the same. But because the gravitational acceleration, or the strength of the gravitational field is different, you're going to be heavier weight-wise in some planets and lighter in some other planets. So by figuring out the weight on Earth, giving us 150 newtons, we can figure out what the mass is, 15.3 kilograms. And that mass is the same mass everywhere. But we go to some other planet, and our mass gives us a different weight. So we have to figure out what is the G value on that planet. And the G value on that planet is 11.11, which means it's going to be Saturn. Okay? Hono, does that make it a sense? Yeah, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so Levi.
Yes. I'm going to do a Pichu question.
On the Q,
Yes,
Hono and writing number 10.
That's all. That was done a long time ago.
All right, so we're doing Pichu.
Yes.
All
Can we
right.
do it? Or are you?
I got it. I'm gonna get so good at this. All right, so
I'm gonna erase this. Okay, so right off the bat, Pichu, it's question recognition. So what's the deal here?
I got it.
Got it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh no, I got it over here. I get it now.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. Right off the bat, looking at this question, also this is in the Discord for the. Okay, we'll leave that. We see that we're dealing with exponents, okay? So be very, very careful with when you're distributing and all the exponent rules. You need to have them all in mind. I think we end up dealing with radicals too, possibly. Although I like to keep things in exponents because radicals are harder for us to understand. I think that exponents are much easier to contextualize and conceptualize. Okay, so we have. Is that 4x to the negative 1/2?
Yep. And also it's x times 4x.
Oh, I didn't see that. 4x. Right? No. Nope. This is messy. To the negative 1/2 plus 4x to the 1/2. All right, so looking at our answer choices, we have no 1/4 x plus square root of 4x. Yeah, sure, maybe, we'll see. So we see in the answer choices that we don't have parentheses. So this is I do want to help you guys get from the question to the answer, but I also want you to be able to do it again. So we know that we see what we're dealing with, it's exponents, but we don't have parentheses. So we have to get rid of those. So that means we're going to do multiplication here. So we can choose the order of this multiplication because multiplication is commutative. So we have 4 times x to the negative 1/2 times x. Now this, before we even get to this, this is product rule. Product rule says we add the exponents. This is an exponent of 1. So this is going to be 4 times x to the 1/2 power. This one, we're going to distribute this. We get 4 to the 1/2 power times x to the 1/2 power. 4 to the 1/2 power is the square root of 4, which is 2. So we have plus 2. This is just x to the 1/2. So what is 4x to the 1/2 plus 2x to the 1/2? It's 6x to the 1/2, which is 6 rad x. The answer is D. Questions on this? I did a bunch of things, but I went through very, very methodically and used the exponent rules that I know. It ended up that those two come together very nicely. You had 1/4 x. Oh, I see. 1/4 x. Yeah. Any questions on this type of deal?
Should I do synthetic division now?
Yeah, I just want to see. Hey, Pichu, how do you feel about this? Ow. I feel like taking physics and financial algebra helps me with the SATs a ton. Huh, that's cool. That's awesome. I mean, it's applied and it's seeing math in a context outside of normal, pure math that you learn in school, and then you don't see it any other way. So that's probably what helps. Yeah, cool. This is from YouTube, but Petrie says, I'm just not sure how to generalize this information into other examples. Okay, the information is not this set of this set of steps. The information that you need to have to be able to apply to all of these things is product rule, quotient rule, x to the 0 is 1, power rule, and negative powers, fractional powers. If you know all of those things inside and out, you're good. If you don't know all of those things inside out, you're not good. Thanks for the follow, Minkyo. Oh, I don't like that. All right, I'll fix that later. Okay, so do you all know power rule, quotient rule, product rule, x to the 0 is 1, negative exponents, and fractional exponents? Is everybody happy with those things? How do you feel about those things? Also, ask more questions. I think we have synthetic division to do. It's very dying marker, dude. Do you have more markers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Actually, I do it.
Power rule. Power rule is this. X to the a power raised to the b power equals x to the a b power. This is multiplication here. So you have x to the a times x to the b. This is x to the a plus b. This is x to the ab. Product rule, power rule. Quotient rule is sort of the opposite of this. If this is division, this is subtraction. You know x to the 0 is 1, anything to the 0 power is 1. Negative exponents, you put it on the other side of the fraction. And then fractional exponents become the bottom of the fraction. The denominator becomes that root of your base, and the top is just that power. Which, if you didn't actually know that before I said this, then probably what I said was too fast and it didn't help. But great, okay, we'll do synthetic. Do you have a question on it, or I'm just getting rid of this and you're explaining it?
I'm just going to explain it.
Do we need to?
Huh?
I'm just wondering if synthetic division is important enough.
It's just come up before. It's come up before, and someone asked for it.
I don't know.
Do you want to explain it?
I don't. I hate synthetic division.
That's because you don't like it.
No, it's not. My dislike does not cause me to hate it. I just hate it.
You just hate it.
It was the same thing.
Why do you hate it?
Because I don't like it.
Do you prefer polynomial long division?
Do you?
No.
Yes.
Synthetic division is way faster. You can't hate synthetic division. It's fast.
It's just not that. It's not that useful though.
But what when you have to divide polynomials?
Do polynomial long division.
Right, but that's the thing, is it's faster.
Not by much.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No,
do you want to have a
No,
challenge?
it's
Do you want to have a
not.
race?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's have a race.
All right.
But you can't do it in your head first.
I'm not going to do it in my head.
Okay.
6x squared minus 5, I'm sorry, cubed, minus 5x squared plus 2x minus 3. And we're going to divide it by x minus 6.
Devon, yes we can.
All right. So
Function notation stuff.
you want to just write this in terms of polynomial long division, and then I'm going to write this.
And then we'll begin?
And then we'll begin. Yes. So just write
Sure.
your thing first.
Okay.
All right. So we need to get the quotient and the remainder.
Quotient and remainder?
Yeah.
Go!
Wait, x minus 6. Not
Huh?
x minus 3.
Well, I thought we were doing different problems.
What do you know? That defeats the point of a race.
This is not important. We'll do this very quickly. I'll be right, and then we'll move on.
You really think so?
No. But it doesn't matter.
You ready?
This is not where time needs to be saved. Yes, go!
Stop it! Stop it!
Okay. Notice how much faster I'm going, everybody. Bird, are you scared? You look scared.
Got it. this marker is dead.
You got to know about the marker stuff.
Look who wrote less. Look who wrote less.
Most
of it I had to do this multiplication.
I didn't even finish. I didn't even get close.
You didn't even finish. You just lied.
Copied you.
See, look at that. Look at that.
But it just doesn't matter. Like it's not a generalizable use though.
What are you talking about?
Like it just doesn't help you do other things.
Well, I've seen an SAT problem at the end that's asked you about, you know, if you did synthetic division, it would make things go a lot faster.
It's not so much that I have a problem with doing it. I just think it's a waste of time to learn.
I mean, if you haven't learned it,
it doesn't help.
Yeah. Wait. The person who asked about synthetic division, do you know how to do it? Stop it. Do you know how to do it, or do you want to just? What are you doing?
I'm trying it.
Well, you're hitting me, and you're not saying that you don't condone violence.
We don't condone violence.
Good. I thought you condoned violence for a second.
No, I don't condone violence.
Yeah. So wait, Cold Dash. Yeah, are you forgetting how to do it? What's the? Have you ever learned how to do it? You forget. You want to talk about it?
Oh, my problem with it is that it doesn't even like as soon as you have x to a different power in the divisor, then it doesn't work anymore.
True.
You have to like still need to know polynomial long division. So that's I don't see any point.
All right, now that's a valid argument. That is a valid argument. On the SAT, though, I rarely see it where they give you something divided by something that's more than
That's because I've been hiding all those answers from you.
a linear factor. I don't think so.
I've been hiding them from you.
No.
I thought now was the time to tell you.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So wait, Cold Dash.
Polynomial division example.
If you're a fan of polynomial long division, you should explain it.
Like what? How to do it?
Do an easy one.
Okay, let's say that we are doing...
It's quadratic.
Yeah, 2x squared plus 4x minus 8. And we'll do x minus 2. Okay, so that's the division. This is like long division, except it's with polynomials. So it's the same idea. How many times, and you're looking at just your leading term here. So x, how many times does it go into 2x squared? It goes in 2x times. So, because what you have to do is, what times 2x, or you could just do 2x squared, you do that division, this x cancels out with the squared, so you have 2x. So then you multiply. So I don't know if you, what's better to improve score on the SAT, writing or math? Writing generally increases a little bit faster now until the test tomorrow. That's a toss-up. I would say that writing in general is the fastest increase, though. Okay, so divide, multiply, subtract. I think that's it, right? And then bring down, something like that. It's like long division. So we're going to multiply 2x by this whole thing now, because that's what we're doing. So we have 2x squared, and we're subtracting this, okay? 2x squared, and then 2x times minus 2 is minus 4x. We're subtracting this whole thing, okay? This is how long division happened back in the day. So if you don't remember that, I recommend just going on Khan Academy and drilling that. Honestly, polynomial long division it may come up on the test tomorrow. It's not that common, so I wouldn't worry too much if this is a little bit fuzzy for you. Generally, if this is the question and then there are answer choices, oh, you get it. Okay, so then I'll ignore it. When you have questions that deal with division of quadratics and other more than power of 1 expressions, you can plug in possible values. Like if that's the question and then the answers are x plus 1 and let's say x minus 1 plus 3 over x minus 2. Those are the answers. This is A and this is B. Then pick values of x and plug them in for all the answers and the original expression and see which ones are equivalent and you can eliminate answers that way. Okay, f of x stuff we should talk about. That's very, very, very important on the test, much more important than this. So, Devon, are you still here? Can you say hi? Just so I know. What do you do with the remainder? Yeah, same as synthetic. Hey, Devon. Yeah, once you get a remainder for any type of division, it's just, I guess technically it's, if your quotient is 72x plus 4, and then your remainder is 12, then you're going to, at the end, write plus 12 over your divisor. Let me know if that doesn't make sense. Okay, f of x. Do you have utterly no understanding of it, or do you have mild understanding of it? Is it the graphing that you don't understand? Is it the evaluating that you don't understand, or you don't know how it connects with y and x normally? Bird, you explained this yesterday, right?
I did. Do it again?
Well, I don't know. We could just send Devon back to yesterday's stream if we can find.
Yes, that's a good point.
Would that be easier?
Yeah.
Okay, because it was pretty. Was it pretty straightforward, or was it staccato? Okay.
It was pretty straightforward.
Do you know when in the stream it was? I can find it and then send it to Devon.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Got it.
Where is Devon? Devon's right there. Okay. Now, when you say the types of f of x graphs, do you mean like what does f of x itself mean, or like when you say the types of them, like they could be any graph? Because the f of x just means y. So like any y equals the square root of x, y equals x cubed plus 7, y equals, right? It could be like any graph you're talking about. You're talking about like the parent graphs, like those important graphs that are like the stock functions, sine, cosine, square root, log, exponential. Is that what you're talking about?
Or is it like f of x equals 2x minus 3, and then the thing says f of t equals t plus 1. What does t equal?
That kind of thing? Is
Like,
that what you like?
Messy for you? This is messy for most people. This is pretty hard. There's not a ton of math to be done, not a lot of arithmetic, but the concept is a little bit tough. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Okay, so here's the issue. We ask a lot of questions, and then answering
Doesn't help.
doesn't help us because we ask a lot of questions. And
Even if that
immediately
means
forget
yes, that still doesn't help.
Yeah, because we asked a bunch of stuff.
Maybe it's your honor. Hello.
Yeah, it's like me asking, hey, Bird, are you my friend or foe?
Yes. That's because I am both.
The former.
Or the latter.
Or the two. The both? The double?
You know, it'd be fun.
No.
Ready for this?
Don't tell me. Please don't tell me.
Wait, hold on.
hate
Look
fun.
at the camera. Look at the
Yep,
camera for a
look at the
second.
camera.
Just match what I'm doing.
My master, Sauron the Great, bids thee welcome.
Good?
Very good.
Okay. This thing on screen or things plural on screen? We're just going to do this.
That's what we go for.
iCarly is my mother. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, oh no.
All right, Hono. Nightmare fuel. Bottled by Hono.
Yes. We just douse you in oil.
We sell it at Target. Trying to get a deal with Walmart.
Next to the M&Ms and the spearmint gum. 5 flavors.
Nightmare fuel, also known as Tide Bond Original Wood Glue.
Put it in your ears. It will kill you.
Gonna get ready for some nightmares.
Okay, so let's just take this guy for a second. This is what you see all the time. F of x equals 2x minus 3. First of all, this means y equals 2x minus 3. Those are the same thing.
Why?
Why?
No.
Or how come?
No, just why?
Off screen, Bird. You don't condone violence. Okay. Here, this is y equals 2x minus 3. This is exactly the same thing. This is just a little more specific because it says y when x is something. In this case, y when x is x. So if we say, what is f of 2? What does f of 2 equal? This is asking, what is y? Because y is the same thing as f of x. what is y when x equals 2? That's what this means, okay? This is what is y when x is x. So it's just the normal thing. It's this thing. But what is y when x is 2, then you plug in this for all of the places where this is in the function, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, tell me and I won't do anything differently. I will re-explain it or try to do it a different way. So we're plugging in 2 for that, which you've probably done before. So we do 2 times 2 minus 3, which equals 1. Okay? That's how you do this. So now here, why did I do that? That's what we're going to do, and I'm going to do it in blue.
Blue.
Blue. Blue. So f of t equals t plus 1. Well, f of t, first of all, is the same thing as f of 2. We do the same exact approach. Okay, exactly. This is weird, but just take it step by step. F of t, do the same thing. It's going to be equal to, you put in t for all the x's. So you have f of t equals 2t plus, or minus 3. But we also are given that f of t equals t plus 1. So if these are both the same thing, then you just have 2t minus 3 equals t plus 1. Let's subtract t, and then we'll add 3 and add 3. We get t equals 4.
Yay.
Which should make sense because we say f of 4 equals 4 plus 1, right? So that's 5. If we plug in 4 for t, or for x, sorry, then we get 8 minus 3, which is 5. There we go. T is 4. Does that all make sense? This is about as hard, or as confusing as it will get on the straight algebra side where you're just dealing with numbers. It can get a little messier when you get to functions that are graphed. Graphing stuff is a little bit harder. I can do that real quick. You'll sometimes do something annoying like that. Just ignore it. It just means this is your function. Just totally ignore it. And then they'll say, let's see, let's label some stuff. So this is -2 here. This is -2 here. This is 1. This is -5. This is 4. This is 3, and this is 4. Huh? Okay, so you can kind of see where these things go. Yeah, okay. Yes, happy? Everybody's happy, good. And then they'll say something like, when, they won't say that, Bird. When is f at its maximum? Local maximum in this case. They probably won't say that. They'll probably just have this graph end right there, and they'll end it right here. Okay? And so they say, when is f at its maximum? Or for what value of x is f at its maximum? That is saying, what is the x value when f, or y, because f and y are the same thing. F is y. F equals y.
Preposterous.
Generally.
It's
okay?
impossible.
Bird, we don't condone violence. I need that back. Okay.
Good catch.
I'm a tutor. That's what I do. No, I don't want this. So, where is the maximum of y? Where's the y value that's max? It's up here, right? Well, and then the question is not what is the max value. The max value is 4. But this is for what value of x is y, or f, at its maximum? Whatever this x value is. Let's say 3. Okay? That's how that works. Now, they might say that, so they could do a bunch of things like that. They could ask for the minimum. Just be careful. When they ask for the min and the max, make sure you're deciding if you're answering for the x value or the y value. If they ask for the min or the max, they're asking for the y. Here, they're asking for the x where we have the maximum. Or by they, I mean me. So we had to give the x value. Now, you can bet your sweet, anything that's sweet of yours, you can bet all of those things that belong to you that are sweet that 4 would be an answer to this question, because they're checking, are you being careful? Okay? Happy? This is f of x stuff. There's more stuff to it, but this is the main thing is f is y. It's just a little bit more specific. It is what is the value of y when x is whatever is in here. So the general is when x is x. Now you can have the same thing if we're still doing this equation here. Let's do another one. So we have f of x equals 2x minus 3. I'm just going to write it again. If I ask you what x plus 3 is, then what you're going to do is you're going to plug in x plus 3 for that x, and you will get 2 times x plus 3 minus 3, which is 2x plus 6 minus 3, which is 2x plus 3. That is this thing. Okay, so it doesn't matter if there's another x in what you're plugging in, just plug it in for the original x. Doesn't seem like anybody's too upset about any of this, and nobody's crying, and also nobody's commenting, so maybe you're just all bots. I don't know. Bot. Robots in disguise.
Bot.
Gonna erase it. Okay.
It is 10:13, be glad.
It is 10:13. All right, we are basically out of time. We want to go to bed, and you all should go to bed. This is not a normal stream. We don't normally do Fridays, but tonight we're doing it because there's an SAT tomorrow. Going forward, if this is not your last test, or you have a test in the future aside from tomorrow, we do stream Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 8 to 9:30 p.m. We just went longer tonight because it's a cram session. We generally do cram sessions for other tests as well, or just the SAT and ACT. So please come back, comment and things, all that stuff. How do I walk into the SAT without mentally dying?
By mentally living.
Yes, and living mentally. Ideally, repress and dissociate.
Yep. In that order. If you find yourself dissociating without having first repressed, you're doing it wrong.
You won't be able to get back.
And if you repress but you forget to dissociate, you're also doing it wrong.
Yeah. Okay, Devon, for sleeping the night before the test, don't be on your phone, don't be on a screen. The screens will keep you awake, it won't help you relax. Read a book. Read something that's not a screen, it will help. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for the stream.
Yeah, Mink, this is pretty much brought to you by you.
Yeah, you did most of the work here. We can't teach without there being any learning.
Is that real mink, by the way?
No.
I don't know. Maybe it's a family heirloom. A hairloom. A loom for your hair.
A loom for your hair, where we thread the hair.
A loom for your...
We build, or we make the textiles.
Okay, thanks, guys. You're welcome, Devon.
Okay, Hono, not mentally dying.
Sleeping tonight.
Physical stuff helps a lot. So, if you're somebody who likes to work out ever, if you can get up early enough to do some jumping jacks or run or do some push-ups or anything that you do physical that gets you out of your head, do those things.
Listen to music on your way there, and you're going to be in line for a while, so have your headphones. Listen to stuff that calms you down or that pumps you up or that simultaneously calms you down while pumping you up, so that you're very calm and yet still energized. It's kind of a fun Zen place to be.
Yes.
And then you'll find yourself lifting off the ground.
The anxiety that you feel is not something that you can actually repress in a productive way.
No, it's not.
So there are physical things that you can do to combat that. Endorphins help a lot. Anxiety does sometimes produce endorphins, and a lot of the problem is when you have nervous energy, you try to push it down, and that makes it negative. Keep it positive by actually engaging that energy that you're feeling, those endorphins, by listening to motivational music or really calming music, whatever you're into. Talking to your friends, doing physical activity, running. If you can jog somewhere in the morning, that will help you express and release that stuff.
Express and release.
Is that how you release things?
Whoa, hold on. This is repress and dissociate. Maybe so express and release?
Enter? I don't know.
Well, no, the words are express and release.
Associate.
Right, associate and then express rather than repress. So this is definitely
This is express. Yeah.
and release.
Yeah. I don't know if you're being sarcastic. Go for it. When I took the SAT during the breaks and between the sections, because those happen simultaneously, they are the same thing. I ran down the hallways. Like I ran up and down the hallways, not really fast, but it helps so much to do physical things. You will not be able to convince yourself to not be nervous because it's nerve-wracking.
It racks your nerves,
Yes.
puts them on a big rack and stretches them out.
Pulling them apart.
Yeah.
It's a very medieval way to treat yourself.
Treat yourself before you wreak yourself.
Track yourself before you rack yourself?
I don't know.
I know, you don't know. I don't know.
Check your privilege before you wreck your privilege.
My mother always said that to me. That really brought me back.
I miss her so much.
Oh, my mother is your mother.
She's my mother too. I had a
Yay.
dream about that.
Yeah, she's not his mother. Okay.
All right, everyone.
We'll be back on Tuesday. Feel free to comment in the Discord or come back on Tuesday and say how it went.
We're gonna miss you guys.
Think WWND, which is what would Nerdish do?
What would Nerdish do?
The answer is always C for Nerdish. It's not.
What would Nerdish do? They would tell you to do whatever Nerdish would do.
Yes.
Hence an infinite loop, and a hole in the space-time continuum erupts, triggering a cataclysmic explosion.
Very quickly repress and dissociate to protect yourself from the harmful rays.
Yes, there will be many harmful rays,
Yes, you will die in half a fortnight.
which is a week. There's a word for that.
Very good.
All right, everyone.
Have a good night.
Don't leave anything blank. Put it, whatever letter you like. Choose that letter for the whole day. All the letters you don't do, put that letter. All right, B for all of them you don't get to. Okay? Have a good night, ho no. Good luck not mentally dying tomorrow.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
No,
We're
this
going that way.
No,
Now we're
not.
I'm sorry. Okay.
The board is flipped. We're not flipped.
Oh, that's why I'm confused.
It's always a little bit hard when we
Stop
wait.
streaming robots in